maybe you haven't just tried hard enough to connect with someone. Maybe like you're so self-centered that you just think about yourself. Hey, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Mia.
And welcome to another episode of Sprinkles and Spice.
And all the single ladies, now put your hands up.
So today we're going to be talking about what it's like to be single and not looking or actively seeking, and all of the misconceptions and stereotypes that come with that.
But before we get into that, for such an interesting and juicy topic, we had to get really cozy. So we decided to partner up with Aura Athleisure. Aura Athleisure is a local, sustainable, and environmentally friendly brand.
So we're wearing the XY hoodie and pant set. I'm wearing it in the color burgundy, and Mia is wearing it in
Summer Sand.
Summer Sand. And these are so comfortable. They're made with organic cotton and they're non-toxic, and they are very, I would say, medium weight, right? They're quite,
Yeah, they're like, they're airy, but
soft,
but like I feel hugged.
Right?
Yeah. But it's not like too hot.
It's not like a thick fabric.
No.
It's like a medium weight fabric, and it's super comfortable. And if you guys are interested in purchasing these or shopping the rest of their collection, we have a discount code for you guys.
Use SS20 at checkout.
Woo! These are also
On sale. I love a sale.
These are on sale, so you can get these and add the 20% discount using our code SS20.
And isn't the sale 41%?
I think so. So that's like what, a 61%? Get
free.
it Fergie.
Guys, it's literally free stuff. Girl math.
Girl math. It's free at this point.
61%. Get all the colors and tag us.
You're actually making money at this point.
You are. Because basically if you get all of them, it's like you bought one. Is that the math? I don't know. I'm not a mathematician.
There's 3 of them. Actually.
Is that?
Close.
Okay,
it's like you bought 1 point something. Anyways.
1 and a quarter. 1 and a sleeve.
Anyways, you guys, support local and shop Aura Athleisure. You can find them on Instagram, Aura Athleisure, and then they have the link in bio, or you could just Google it and you'll find them. They're so easy to find. So enjoy your shopping spree.
Okay, let's get into the topic of the day.
Let's do it.
Should we start with why we're single?
Okay, let's go.
Do you want to go first?
Do I want to go first? All right. Well, obviously, if you have been watching the pod, you know that I was married before. For the 1 million time, every episode we're gonna say it just in case you forget. But no, like I think after you go through that experience, you kind of like have different standards. You know now like what to look out for, what you want in a marriage, what you don't want in a marriage. And so I also, I think because of that experience and, you know, like being in my mid to late 30s, like I obviously know more about myself, more about like what I want and my goals and my values. So it's just honestly been hard to find someone who matches that. Like, you know what I mean? Like and it's not that, like, a lot of people thought that after I got divorced, they're like, oh my God, you have PTSD now from marriage. You're probably not gonna want to get married. I don't have a problem with the institution of marriage. I actually am all for it, but I'm for choosing the right partner. And I think I still haven't found the right partner. And I'm not like we had this conversation where I told you, like, it's not that I'm not looking, I'm not actively seeking, you know, because I feel like in this point in my life, there's so much uncertainty because I've shifted careers and I'm on this new journey and I don't know where it's going to end. So I need to find someone who's aligned and willing. And that's hard.
No, I mean, that's not just hard, but I feel like that's like probably how a lot of people feel. That's definitely how I feel. I mean, okay, I'm still in my 20s. I haven't been married. Like I haven't really experienced that. And I feel like even though I haven't been married, I have a lot of friends who have gotten married. And I think through them, I've seen, okay, like this is a it's not just like, okay, we're married and they live happily ever after. I feel like in the storybooks, that's definitely how, when we grew up, we're like, oh yeah, they get married and that's the end.
Yeah.
Whereas when I see people who are married, I always think, oh my God, like, it's so much harder because now everything you're carrying, they're also carrying their own, and you kind of merge it all together.
Yeah.
And I've never felt like I met the person that I can see myself doing that with. Every time I meet someone, I'm always like, oh, like, I don't feel like they accept me fully as much as I'm at least accepting them. And I think probably girls who haven't been married feel that way as well, where, you know, sometimes you meet someone and they're like, oh, you're young, I can like build you. You know, this is not
Grooming.
Yes, exactly.
It's not a Build-A-Bear. Yeah, exactly.
If you date someone and like you're still in your 20s and they're like in their 30s, for example, then yeah, sometimes you do feel like they're trying to like raise you.
I mean, it doesn't even. I don't think it's an age thing, because like when I got married at 23. My ex-husband was also 23. We were like 6 days apart. He was literally like 6 days older, and it was the same thing, because I was very honest from the beginning. I was like, this is who I am, and he said okay, and then he tried to change those things. And then when I asked him, I was like, you know, you agreed to these things, why did you want to change it? And he was like, I didn't care, I just wanted to marry you, and I wanted to like kind of like change everything else. I'm not a car that you can customize,
modify,
sir.
Like this, there's no like modifications you can do.
Right?
I mean, we're gonna grow and we're gonna grow together.
It's like, oh, the model is nice.
Yeah, I like the.
But
make
I don't
of
like
car.
the interior. Like the make, the model, okay, but the interior needs to change.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I mean, for me personally, having lived outside my whole life, I do feel like it's hard, and being half Kuwaiti, it's hard to meet someone that also has the same view of life as me, that I can see myself building a family with, because I have a certain point of view where I feel like I really am 50-50, like 50% Middle Eastern and 50%, you know, a bit Western. So I feel like I can't really find, Westerners are too Westerners. No, Westerners are too Western. They're too white for me. Arabs, sometimes they refuse to compromise on things that I've compromised in my life. So I don't know. It's hard out there.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you. It is hard to find someone that shares similar views. And sometimes I think even when you do find someone who shares similar views, there's just not this like willingness to work. Like I don't even think it's a matter of like sharing the same background or values or views. It's also like the motivation to work and build something with someone. Like I feel like people, I'm not going to say men in general, but I will put the weight mostly on men, because it is kind of, they're lacking in that field.
We compromise.
Yeah. As women, we compromise, we give allowances, we kind of like,
we're expected to always make sacrifices. And I think adults, usually moms will all tell that you gotta sacrifice, you know, for him. Why? What is he sacrificing?
Yeah. So in my case, I feel like because of like my experience as like being a divorcee, and then I'm, like I said, like I'm 37. So a lot of people think that my standards are way too high, you know, like, oh, okay, you gotta, like when I got a divorce immediately, like people were like, oh, you have a small window to get remarried, because after that, like it's just gonna be, you know, like impossible, I guess. So I feel like there is this misconception that, oh, your standards are way too high for someone in your situation, because you need to marry the first person that comes and knocks your door. You know what I mean? And if you don't, then you're just wasting your life. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. I do think I agree, because I think so. The misconceptions are like, obviously your standards are too high. If you're offering up the standards that you're asking for, I don't think they're too high. I do think, some people, and I really mean this as respectfully as possible, like some people are waiting for like a Prince Charming that, you know, what's that list?
Realistic, obviously.
There's a list, right? So there's girls, not everyone. I love the girls. I'm for the girls, but some girls really will be like, I don't really want a guy that's 6'5" above. I want him to be making like X amount of money. I want him to be an entrepreneur. Okay, do you want him to be 60 years old and over? Like, no, like, how is he gonna have done all this in this economy? Like, yes, there are people who are geniuses and who have these careers, but also like, what are you offering? You want someone that has XYZ, and that's fair. Have those standards. If you have these crazy high standards, then maybe he's also going to have these crazy high standards. So let's make our standards like realistic to what we're offering.
I don't think, it is that like match your standards to what you're offering. Cause I saw this somewhere where it was like, think of like the person you want to be with, your ideal partner, and then think of what that person would look for in a woman, and then try to be that woman, and vice versa. The same as with a man. Like if you want a certain type of woman, think of what she would want as her man and try to be that man.
I feel like
and then you will attract it.
I heard a similar quote that was like, write down everything you want in your ideal person and then become that.
Yeah.
That's same sentiment. I think for anyone that has standards, you have to match those standards.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
And I think it's completely okay. And you should have like high standards, but as long as they're realistic. Once they start being unrealistic, like when you have like good prospects and you're like, no, I'm not giving them a chance. Like I'm like, sometimes there are things you have to compromise on in your list. You know, if someone has the majority, you try to give that person a chance and see how it goes. But you know, if they're ticking like almost everything and it's just like one or two things and you're like, no, you're not even giving it a chance.
Under 6'5", I don't want him.
He
He doesn't drive a Lambo. I don't want him. Like, guys, let's just be realistic.
And honestly, these are not the important things that you should be looking for in a marriage, but we'll get into that later. But I think another one is that, she's too career oriented. She just cares too much about her career, or she's tough like Saba, you know, she's like a masculine woman and no man wants her.
And those are traits that we love in a man, but we refuse to accept in a woman.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I also think women who are too in their masculine haven't found a man who is masculine enough to put them in their feminine.
True. Oh my God. Preach. Or maybe they need a man that is in their feminine because they balance each other out. He's okay with her having this like hotshot career, and he wants to maybe take care of the house and the kids. Like,
and that's fine. You have to think of what dynamic that you're looking for. Like, for example, if you are a woman who is more of a dominant type and you are career oriented and you don't want to stay at home and take care of the kids, and you find a man who you're attracted to and who wants to do that, that's completely okay. If that works for you and it makes sense to you, that's okay.
It's not what, I mean, I think in our society, I think that's still sort of not widely accepted, but you're not marrying society, you're marrying a person. And so that's where like the disconnect comes from.
Like stay at home dads do get a lot of flack for, or their masculinity, I think, is put into question a lot, because like if you're a stay at home dad and your wife is making all the money and she is a successful independent woman, like, you know what I mean? It's like,
but just like behind every great man is an amazing woman, maybe behind every woman there's also an amazing man. Maybe she's able to achieve these things because they spoke about it and they said, okay, your career is going to go so much further up and you have to focus on it right now, and I'm okay with stepping back. And if we expect women to step back, we should also sometimes expect men to step back. It's not really asking for the moon.
Or like you said, like if you find someone who is busy and is going to take calls when you're at dinner, maybe you're that kind of person too, so it's fine, it balances out. That actually for me is like ideal, because I feel like I'm very work oriented as well. Like for me, my right now, especially in this phase of my life, like my career is priority.
Same.
And or basically figuring out what I want to do in my life, like career wise, is the priority right now. And if someone is the same and somehow we can like merge our lives together and make it work, I don't mind that. But if someone's gonna be like, oh, you're always working, you're taking a work call, no, you know what I mean? I'd be upset. So if my partner is the same, I wouldn't mind it. I actually I would love it, because I feel like you'd probably support each other rather than have someone who's taking the calls and the other person just sitting there waiting because they don't have anything else to do.
And because they don't understand. So I think, to your point, I fully agree with that. I think someone that's not gonna get mad that I'm putting work first right now and understand that it's a right now thing is ideal. Because a lot of people, I think, especially people who don't maybe work in a more creative field or a high, like, not high stress, but more, if you're self-employed, you understand that you don't have work hours. Hours can be anything. If someone has a 9 to 5, they might start resenting you because they'll be like, well, why can't you just switch work off? I switch it off at 5 p.m. Well, I can't do that.
I think another misconception is that single people, especially I think if you're older, like an older single woman, is that you're...
What's old? 55? 70?
No, honestly, like, yesterday, remember when we were watching Love is Blind? Also, the season is tough to get through.
It's such a lame season. I hope it's
but like this, I realize it's a universal thing. It's not just here in the Arab region. Like I think that's also a misconception where like people, when they reach their 30s, like early to mid 30s, they start freaking out, especially women, because like even there was one girl who was like, what, 35 or something? Or was she younger? I don't know. But they're always like, oh my God, I need to get married. Everyone is around me is saying like, I need to get married. No.
My
you know
biological clock is ticking. No.
Yeah.
But it's actually not true.
And they give it like being single such a bad rep because like, they start crying. Oh my God, nobody loves me. I'm not miserable. As a 37-year-old single woman, I am the happiest I have ever been. I am not.
You look
loveless.
the best also.
I look great because I'm single. No, I'm kidding. Please, married girls, don't get mad. I'm joking. If you have a man who's making you happy and you look great, honestly, good for you. Tell us what you're doing.
No, but like... in French, there's a saying that says mieux vaut être seul que mal accompagné, and it basically means it's better to be alone than not well accompanied, like with the wrong. And I
look at her dropping some French.
Like I
flexing.
Don't flex. Can't speak Arabic properly, but flex that French, girl. No, but I could not agree more. I'd rather be alone right now than be with someone that I just it's not fitting. Why would I force myself?
Literally, yeah. And
we're happy. We're alone. We're not lonely.
That's what I was telling you. Like where I actually felt so lonely in my marriage, I think lonelier than I felt when I got divorced. Because like when you're in a marriage and it's not working, you're not being seen, you're not understood, you're not heard. And there's so many conflict, you feel alone, especially like in my case, because I'm not the kind of person that's gonna go and talk to my friends about my marriage. I didn't even talk to my family. I rarely talk to my family about the problems that we had until it got like really bad. But you feel alone. Like I remember there were times I would literally like drive to the parking lot of Walmart and sit there and cry.
And that's so
and I'm getting emotional thinking about it now because like, oh shit.
Can we have tissues?
I'm just having an emotional day today. But no. It's fine. I don't care. It's fine. Thank you, Taro. But yeah, like it gets very lonely when you're in that situation, and especially I think for me because I was living abroad and I didn't want my family to worry, and my friends that I made there, they were new, so I wasn't gonna tell them, you know what I mean? And I literally, like, it sounded so sad, that's why I'm crying. Like, imagine like late at night, I had nowhere to go. I didn't, like, I couldn't go see my family or go see my friends, so I'd literally just go to the parking lot of a Walmart and sit there and cry.
That's literally so miserable and isolating. Like, I'm so sorry, but that's the problem with this push. Like, you have to get married. There you go. You can get married and be miserable. Like, I can't say it enough. The divorce rate is now over 50%. Yeah. Clearly she's so passionate about it, but it's like, why is that? What are we doing wrong? And yes, our parents, they come from a generation where divorce was not as common. But we don't. And maybe listening to them when they're pushing for this is not the right way to go. Maybe, yeah, we are, with the internet, like, I hate to say it, but we are so different to any other generation. Yeah. Like millennials and Gen Zs and everyone's going to come after. We are so different because we have this worldview that generations before us could not have. We have access to the whole world at the palm of our fingers. Obviously, we're going to be different. Obviously, we're going to be more depressed. Obviously, finding someone that understands us because we're more complex now than we've ever been before is going to be harder.
Yeah.
And obviously, also the mortality rate. I'm so sorry, but like it's you know, like we can live till long now. We don't have to be married in our 20s or 30s.
There's studies that say that the average life expectancy is going to increase to like over 100.
Yeah.
Like
they're trying to push it.
They're trying to push it to 200. I don't know if I want to live 200 years.
Oh my God!
I'll be honest.
If I'm decrepit, are you kidding me?
Look,
take me out.
If they find a way to make us age better, because I feel like
people get arthritis in their 40s nowadays. I don't know how they're living longer.
Imagine living till 200 at that point. Like, what are you? You're just like...
I'm not answering calls at 200. You want to see me? No.
Also, it's not just the way I look. It's like 200 years of this life. Of people. Of humans.
No, 200 years of being single. I mean, baller.
Oh my God. If I live to see... myself at 200 years old, I better be so fucking rich. Yes! Because like, if I live to be 200 and I'm not rich, what was I doing for 200 years? Ma'am, 200 years. Like, what were you doing?
But also, like, living to 200, you're seeing your grandkids, your kids' grandkids. I don't know if I want to see all of that. You know, like, what are they going to be? Because if I'm your grandparent, I'm not really responsible for raising you all that much. Like, I'm just giving you money and candy. And if she's not giving, I don't know. Take me out.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Another one is, I feel like if you're single, then you like being single. Like, you're a player.
You're a player.
You're for the streets.
She's for the streets. Yeah. She's a runner. She's a track star. Yeah, like, oh my God, she can't settle. She's just like
she's having a lot of fun, hanging out with a lot of people. First of all, that's none of our business. Period.
She's like, I said what I said, and that's it. There's no more to be said about that.
I mean, I can't say it enough. Like, I
mean, it is a misconception. Yeah, just because I choose to remain single doesn't mean that I'm
playing the field
because I'm single. Or like, I hate it when people are like, oh, you're single and you're not looking. Like, what are you doing? Especially like, I feel like people who are married or are in relationships and they're like, why aren't you looking? Like,
no, but it's the opposite end of the spectrum as well, where it's like, if you're not looking, oh my God, death beyond you, you're going to die decrepit, miserable, alone, and your cat's going to eat your limbs.
You're going to be chewing on your
hand. My cat will
one
never
day.
eat me. My cat wants some like fancy ass meat. With the junk I'm eating, he's not trying to have me. My cat drinks kefir, queen. Please.
I can't with Dior. Her cat is so bougie, and he's such an attention whore. I think one time he smacked me because I wasn't giving him attention. Remember when I was laying on the bed
and you were talking
and
to
I was like talking to you and I was looking at my phone and he was sitting there and then he smacks me and I'm like, what?
Yeah, and you
shout out Dior.
You couldn't get on the bed before he allowed you to go on the bed.
Yeah. No, but Dior loves me.
Yeah, he does.
He's obsessed with me.
He does. He's in love with you. He thinks you're his wife. No, but also, and if you are looking, then you are playing the field. Oh my God, you're dating people? Yes, I'm looking for more than one person because I'm a complex human being that maybe I haven't met. The first person that comes along is not the one for me.
Yeah.
I haven't met my person. Should I not be looking? So then you can't look. But if you are looking, you're for the streets.
Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously, like we said, like, oh, that you're a spinster. You've missed the train.
Yeah,
that's it. House. You're done for.
You're gonna die alone, or your cat's gonna eat you.
You're dying alone. You're 31 and you haven't been married. Oh my God. And that's something like I think I dealt with a lot in my early 30s where like I think I deep down inside, I don't think I was desperate to get married. Yes, while I do crave family and love and settling down and building something. Companionship, of course. But I don't think companionship is necessarily like something that you will be fulfilled with just from a marriage or relationship. Like it could be like I could be fulfilled with my like friendships. You know what I mean? And I
agree. Like my soulmate so far, like I feel like I've met my soulmates. I don't think you're one, and all of them have been my friends. I've formed deep, meaningful bonds, and we connect over things and have conversations that I've never had, and they've opened my eye to a life that I never even knew existed.
Yeah, and so I remember like when I was actually like in my late 20s and my early 30s, I felt like this desperation to settle down, like it was a race. I literally felt like I was in a race because society convinces you that like you're gonna miss the train, and once you've missed the train, that's it, you're done for. Nobody wants you. You know what I mean? And so there was this like like I said, like this desperation, and you think there's something wrong with you. Like, why am I not settling? And you realize it's because deep down inside, it's not what you want. You just want it because people are telling you that you have to do it because time is ticking. When in reality, we all know, Sayyidah Khadija was 40 years old when the Prophet married her. Can you confirm that? She was 40, right? Yeah, she was 40 years old. So your life does not end as a woman. You don't have an expiration date. And we've seen this even in our religion. You know what I mean? Our Prophet actually married her, and I think she's like 20 years his senior.
Yeah, I think that was the case.
I think she was 20 years his senior. But
all right, don't quote us on that.
I think so. Wait, hold on. Tariq is fact checking. 35?
And he was 25.
Oh, okay. So 10
Okay,
years.
are you sure? I thought it was 40.
Me too. I could have sworn. Okay, so
Well, she was 35.
25,
I
whatever.
don't know where I got 40. I thought she was 40, and the Prophet was 25. But still, you know what I
10
mean?
years.
That's
But and then today, oh my God, girl, you just know today we're still at the stage where if a girl is like older,
Here it says 40.
okay. So
Okay, so
different
35 or
sources say
40.
35 or 40. So between 35 and 40.
No,
Either
but-
way, like it's an indication that like it's not a religious thing. Like don't bring religion into it when you're trying to push people to get married in their 20s.
and also today we're still at the stage where if a guy is, I don't know, 10, 15 years older or even 20 years older, I mean, 20 to me is like an age gap that is, maybe it's not so current for our generation, but still 10, 15, I think we still see that quite commonly.
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah, it's fine because he's mature and everything. Like she can lean on him. But if it's the other way around, we're still hating on girls that marry someone that's younger. And yeah, usually the guy's more mature, but we're not gonna generalize all men.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with our society that we love to tell women you cannot get married after a certain age, and if she does and he's younger, we throw rocks at her even more.
Yeah.
So we're just not happy with women.
Or just like how Kourtney Kardashian got attacked for being pregnant at 40. How old is she?
She's in her, I think
She's in her early 40s.
early to mid maybe.
Yeah. That she's pregnant, and people were calling her selfish. Because they're like, you're putting your baby at risk. Well, it's her baby.
How about
It's not
she has
yours.
enough money to
She
get
has-
the best doctors? I'm not worried about this multimillionaire one bit. She has the best access to healthcare. She has the best services. She's probably eating the food that the baby needs. Like the baby's gonna come out better than all of us. Okay, I'm not worried about this.
Actually. Yeah. And I think the last one is that there's this misconception that singles have this inability to form meaningful connections. Like we're broken. Like
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
emotionally broken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, something's wrong with you. Like, why? Maybe you haven't just tried hard enough to connect with someone. Maybe like you're so self-centered that you just think about yourself.
Just honestly, I don't even know what to say about that because that's just. Are you in my head? Honestly, I don't even know what to say.
And the problem is it's the exact opposite. Like I've actually like the one thing I look for is a meaningful bond, actually. And unfortunately, I was open and I actually formed meaningful bonds with the wrong people.
Yeah.
Maybe that was on me. Maybe I chose the wrong person, but because I felt like this chemistry and this attraction and this like bond with someone, so I was able to create it, but then it turned out to be like the wrong person. There is nothing wrong with that. We all make mistakes and that's okay, but that doesn't mean that I have an inability to make a bond. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's get into the social dynamics because I definitely think other than the stereotypes and misconceptions they have about us single people, there's definitely like a weird dynamic that we start to
It's another
see.
layer. Yep.
Yeah, just alienates even more,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
Something's really
Just
wrong
like,
with us.
Like singles literally just trying to like go through life like
minding our business, getting our privacy invaded,
yeah,
and
but
getting
then
insulted
like
all day long.
everybody just wants to put all these like obstacles and shit in your way
and fix us
and
because
fix
we're broken
you,
people.
'cause, yeah, you're broken.
So obviously we've both mentioned we're friends with married people. I'm not friends with that many moms, but I have a few moms, sprinkled here and there. And I think I mentioned this and you mentioned this earlier in the maybe dating episode in Girl Gang Chronicles. When a girl gets into a serious relationship, all of a sudden the single friends in her life get discarded and pushed aside. And I've definitely felt that way with certain friends that have gotten married, or like, you know, like just in really serious situations, where now everything revolves around their partner, and hang out with people that are partnered. And it's the same with the moms.
It's like their whole personality is that they're a couple, and they only hang out with couples.
And it's the same with the moms. I mean, not all moms, like I really like, and again, not all my married friends, please don't DM me about this, guys. I've heard enough. Certain married girls and certain moms, all of a sudden the only time I can see her is with her child, and that's fine. I love you. I love your child by extension. I'm not a mother right now, guys. I cannot hang out with you and your child every single time. And if you have a nanny, because not everyone has a nanny. If you have a nanny or nannies, if you have a mother-in-law, if you have someone that can take care of the kid, and I'm not hanging out with the kid every single time, that would also be great. I love your kid. I want to see your kid. I don't want to see your kid every single time, because no, girl.
No, every single time you hang out, because like you want to hang out with your friend.
Yeah, and
like you love her kid, but sometimes you just want your friend
without the mom aspect in it every single time. And I know you're a mom, and I really want to clarify.
Me, I'm a mom.
You're a mother to Jor. We're co-parenting Jor. No, but I know that like you're a mom, but it's like we were friends before all of this, and even though we respect that, you know, your lives have changed, all of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't just want to sit there and listen to a screaming, crying baby, throwing a baby, wiping the baby. Like, where are you in all of this?
Yeah, like especially sometimes I think when you need your friend.
Yeah.
Like you're going through something and you need her, and her baby's there, and like you're breaking down, and halfway through she's like trying to tend to her screaming, kicking, crying baby.
Like, halfway through conversation she's breastfeeding. As you should, queen, breastfeed that baby. But like, do we not miss our friends?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I need moms to tell us like the pressure, because I'm sure that maybe married like people with children, like they also feel like there's this pressure from their single friends, not single.
I would love to hear the moms who do this, because I know they'll recognize themselves. What that's about, because we get it, especially in the first 2 years. We get it, but like you don't have one time to hang out, and especially when they start missing everything, you know, they miss everyone's birthdays, they miss people's lives, and you just think like, okay, do we wait 18 years to see you guys again?
Yeah. Or are we gonna be closer friends when I'm married? Like, is that what it is? Is there like a
members card?
A members card, or
members card? Yeah, it is. It's very exclusive.
Members only.
But I have this problem, I would say, more with married girls, because again, I don't have that many mom friends, but it's just a few that have started being a bit strange. The married girls in my life that have sort of like moved away and only wanted to be with their husbands, also just, I don't really want to hang out with your husband all the time. Thank you for including me. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for thinking of me. But I can't tell you things in front of your man, girl. I can't tell you things in front of your man. Okay, in front of your man, we're keeping it PG. How do you feel about that? Do you go through that? Because you have friends who have kids who are not even babies. You're friends with kids who are...
To be honest, I'm not too close with a lot of girls who are married, and I feel like it's for a reason. And I think it's because like once girls get married, there becomes a distance. And I think especially in our culture, a lot of women, like older women, be like, oh, careful what you say around your single friends, because she might be jealous of you.
She's gonna steal your man.
And she's gonna give you the evil eye.
She's gonna steal your man.
She's gonna steal your man. No. So I think maybe married girls like set a lot of boundaries, as they should. I don't know. Maybe it's something that I chose. Maybe I tend to like lean more towards single people. But I do have a few friends who are married, and I think we're not close for a reason.
And they don't bring you around at home with the husband. That's not a dynamic that exists.
I mean,
here.
It depends on the friend. Like I do have, well, she's more my sister's friend, but I'm also like friends with her like for years. And no, she would invite us around. Like we would, like if I would go out and see her with her husband, and we kind of like merge or whatever. Like it's fine. It's not that deep like with them. But I think it's because they're half.
Okay. No shade to full.
Yeah, no shade to full, but I'm not saying it like in a way where I'm trying to shade them. I'm just saying,
I know you're full.
A difference of like, of like culture and how you're brought up. Like there are full Kuwaitis who are fine with that. Like they're okay. But like for me, I didn't care. Like I was like if I was meeting up with a friend and I had to be around my husband, I'm like, hey, like Mike's gonna be there. Do you, or my ex-husband, like, you know what I mean?
I'm so the opposite. For me, I'm like, okay, I understand that all of you think I'm like so funny and like a clown basically, and you want your man to like sit there and laugh at my jokes, but also like I want to talk about my life without having your man sit there and give me his commentary.
No, I mean, honestly, if you're not seeing your friend without her man, or you can't have a conversation with your friend alone without her man being there, then
or
that's
we're out and he always ends up joining us. I, honestly, Zainab, like there are some people in my life that I just stopped hanging out with because I was like, every single time we're together, he has to show up. Like, why? Are we a trio of bestianas now? I can't do this.
Yeah, that's annoying. I can't imagine that. But you know what I hate more than that?
What?
I don't know if you experienced that like in France or in Europe in general, but we have this thing here in Kuwait, like when you're friends with a member of the opposite gender.
Yeah.
Like, so for example, if I'm a girl and I'm friends with a guy and we're really close and then he gets married, he's ghosting me.
What?
He's ghosting my ass.
What?
Yeah, because he's married. And vice versa. And girls do that to guys too. Like, so if a girl has a guy friend and then she gets married, she's blocking her guy friend after she gets married. And that happens a lot.
What? Why?
Are
you, because you're not allowed to be friends with people of the opposite sex because you might run away.
I think it's a lot of like possessiveness and jealousy from the person. And I think it's because like, yeah, I get it. Obviously, if I'm friends with a guy and he gets married, obviously I know the dynamic will shift. I will respect his wife. I'm not going to be as close. I'm not going to like try to be all up in your business. Like,
you're not going to hang out with him.
And
one-on-one.
at the same
That's
time,
okay.
like, I would want to meet your wife and be friends with her too. You know, obviously I'm not going to like cross your boundaries. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, your wife is my bestie now, you know, but it would be nice to feel involved instead of isolated, just because like we have this idea that guys and girls cannot be friends.
So lame.
I mean, I agree there has to be boundaries between,
of course,
like co-ed friendships, but like it doesn't mean that just because one of them gets married that you block the other person, or not just block, like completely isolate yourself from that person.
You
and
pretend like you didn't have the life that
hurtful.
You did.
Yeah, it's just so hurtful. And it happens a lot here. And I know a lot of my guy friends as well have been on the butt end of this from like girls. Like they're friends who are girls and they're really close and they have formed like beautiful friendships with these girls, and then the girl gets married and the guy's blocked.
Just makes me wonder, if you're pretending like this whole part of your life never happened, then why are you marrying the person that you're marrying? Are you just going to pretend you're not who you are? You're building a relationship based on pretending. So what lies?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, that's why I think a lot of people have to be honest, because it's like you said, like if you're marrying someone who's not okay with you having friends from the opposite sex, then what are you doing? Yeah. Like you're kind of not being true to yourself. And that's I think for me what's like what settling looks like. I mean, maybe some people think it's stupid, like, oh, you would rather have friends, you'd rather be friends with guys than get married. No, I would rather cherish my friendships that I've built and I've worked so hard on for years, because yeah, your friendships are like, you build them together, like they are work.
They're a part of who you are.
They're a part of who you are, and these people have shaped me and they've helped me, and they're a big part of my life. And just because I'm getting married now and I'm marrying a person who does not share my values when it comes to friendships, then I have to adapt to his way and be like, okay, my husband doesn't like me talking to you, so bye. You know what I mean?
I know. It's just, honestly, it's just lame.
It's really lame.
Like, for lack of a better word, it really is just lame.
Yeah. Lame.
Okay, something I hate, and we just have to put it out there. Please don't ask people like why they're still single. Why are you still single?
Oh my God, you're so beautiful. How are you still single?
What do you mean how? This is not, first of all, if someone wants to be single, like, let them be. It's like what? When are you having kids? When?
God forbid that it's a choice.
Yeah, no.
It's not a choice. Like,
if you're single, you must be sad and miserable. So I must be like, how are you still single? Because you're such a catch. Guys, first of all, women know, because men, they don't get asked that. I know men don't get asked that. They don't get asked how are you single.
I don't know, Tariq, can you confirm? Do men get asked how are you single, or why are you still single?
We get asked why are you not married?
Yeah. It's a different energy.
Yeah, I guess. It's a different.
Why are you not married is different to how are you still single?
Oh my God. I mean, they ask women that too. Like,
Yeah.
don't you think about having
Yeah.
kids?
Okay, first of all, some people don't want to have kids and that's their decision. And some people cannot have kids and
Yeah.
that's beyond their decision. But how are you still single is so dumb because just the sentiment behind it is, like we said earlier, it means how could you be so miserable and alone? How could you not be partnered with someone because that'll make your life so much better? It's the same exact
Yeah.
energy. That's what you're saying. We're single because we haven't met the right person or we're not looking or we're focused on career and that's okay. Save these questions to yourself.
And then they look at your like platonic friend and you're like, you're so close with him. Like, why don't you marry him? Or any guy you meet, or like they try to set you up with every like Tom, Dick, and Harry. Like any guy, literally, you go to a meeting.
The waiter smile at you and why don't you marry him?
Why don't you marry him? Like literally, I remember at some point, like I would talk to like, for example, my mom. I'd be like, yeah, I had a meeting today, and it was like with a guy or something. What's his name? How old is he? And I'm like, it's a work meeting. I'm not trying to like, why do you put this like thought into girls' heads that like every interaction with a man
is a potential husband. So bad.
Kill me now.
I don't know what's worse, when it's a random person or it's literally a friend. Like, when oh my God, you guys get along. Why did you get married? How about this is my friend? There's zero attraction. Can we stop pretending like attraction is not a thing? Like, I don't understand. Like, should I not be attracted? Should we not be attracted to each other?
I don't know. Like, I don't know why people don't understand the concept of like platonic. Like,
how about there's zero chemistry?
Zero. Anyways. Moving on, child. Let's get into some of the stigmas.
Oh my God, we were so connected.
We are one. Today, we are actually sharing one brain cell.
Today, with the brain fog we have, guys, please bear with us.
I don't know what it is. I mean, we are pre-filming this, and I think like we just got out of the Aquarius moon.
Yeah.
Like there was a new moon in Aquarius. What moon are we in now? Our friend Miriam was telling me, she was like, Mercury has to be in retrograde right now.
Something is definitely retrograding.
Something's definitely retrograding.
And I need a woman in some like yoga pants and like flowers in her hair to tell me what's retrograding, what's wrong with me. I need a white woman right now.
I need a white
woman right now.
She has to be white.
What? And you know that like the yoga pants.
Oh my God.
That
the palazzo.
Yeah, they make your butt look so good. They're so flat.
No, she's not wearing yoga pants. She's wearing palazzo.
Yeah. But she could do yoga in them.
Yeah.
She probably does. And she spent a year in Thailand finding herself.
Yeah.
I need you for this.
And she doesn't heat style her hair because it's
no. And she has like freckles and they're not drawn on. She doesn't have the freck pencil.
Anyways. Why is that so stupid? It's like
so
making me laugh. It's so dumb.
But you know, like this is like a side gig.
Side gig.
Yeah, it's a side gig. I have brain fog. It's a sidebar. No. Okay, let me just get into something.
Yeah.
Do you ever open TikTok and you have like a tarot reading and it's like, I pulled out this card and like every single time they get me and like, you are here for a reason. I'm pulling out this card for a reason. And I see that like 12 million people have liked it. It has like 300 million views. But I'm like, yes, I was meant to find this. Like me and a third of the population.
This is for me. It's actually for me. They get you. They really get you with that. And then they're like,
especially if they have like their hair in like a turban or something. I'm like, oh my God.
No, there's one I follow. I forgot his name. Chris something.
Chris Pine.
Not Chris Pine.
Chris Appleton.
Anyways, he reads tarot cards and he signs as well. And I felt like there was something special about.
Is he white?
And I'm like, I think he looks like he's Latin or
not Mediterranean.
Latina. I think he's a Latina. Latina? Latin? I don't know.
I can't speak on behalf of the Latinos and Latinas. All right, let's go back into it. Sidebar
over. All right. I think you could tell we have like major brain fog today.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay.
No,
that means 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So
we've done a lot of those stigmas and challenges before, but I think it's important to get into them.
Yeah.
So let's start with
family expectations. So obviously, traditionally, you're expected to get married at a certain age. So if you're not married
and breed,
yeah,
get married and breed,
get married and breed. there's this like disappointment or disapproval, like you're doing something wrong. Like I hate it when I go to family, like this is why I don't go to my family gatherings anymore, because like every time I go, like someone asks me like, why are you still not married yet? Like, how are you not married yet? No, you have to get married. One time my uncle asked me, he was like, why aren't you married yet? And I was like, because I'm the equivalent of 10 men. So if I find, and if you say it in Arabic, it's a lot like
more
snappier. Yeah. So it's like I'm the equivalent of 10 men. So if I can find a man who is more manly than me or man enough to handle me, then I'll settle. Cool. But until then, I am not settling for a weak
bitch boy.
I can't even call him a man. Like, boy, you're so weak. I'm sorry. Like, keep up.
No, but I feel like bitch boy really paints the picture perfectly. I know it's gonna piss off some people, but I don't care. As an only child, I think some only children probably feel the opposite. They probably feel like pressure because they're like, you're the only child, you have to birth.
You're the only
your only hope. But actually, like, I am really lucky because I never get the marital pressure
to find love.
Yeah. It's the opposite of like the Love Island scenario that families do. They're like, okay, we're gonna throw a bunch of people at you. You have to choose someone. My family was always like, no, you're perfect. You can do no wrong. Don't leave us. So thank God for that. Thank you. Family.
So your family didn't have this expectation?
My mom, my dad, my uncles, my grandma died when I was too young, so like
Allah
doesn't count. But like, all of them are always like, just take your time. You're having fun. You're doing your thing. My dad used to be like, just get married whenever you want.
Yeah, I love that.
I know. I love that. And my mom's literally like, don't get married in your 20s. My mom is the biggest don't get married in your 20s stand, because she's like, your generation is different. Like she's so cool because she understands the internet, and she's always like, no. Like right now you guys have so many like options in life. Yeah. You have to like succeed in your career, and then once you're settled and you don't need a man, you'll have the best like selection, because you won't need anything right now. There'll be a real add-on. Yeah. Rather than like, I need to get married now.
Yeah. I love that. My aunt is like that too. She has 2 daughters and they're around your age. Mm-hmm. And their dad also said, he was like, I would rather my daughters live comfortably and like be respected in my home. I don't care if they don't get married, than like marrying them off to anyone who's not gonna provide them or offer them the comfort and the lifestyle and the respect that he does. So he's like, I would much rather have them single and live with me than just get married. You know what I mean? And I love that. It's so progressive. And he's a boomer too, which shocks me. But he's so progressive. Yeah.
I think for those who don't have the pressure of the family, they sometimes might feel it more from society, because I think society, especially ours, or actually all societies really, in reality, like, but there's more an emphasis in certain societies rather than other ones. They place a huge value on marriage, and that's when you'll do the biggest,
it's a milestone. Like you said earlier, where you were like, the fairy tale always ends when the woman gets married.
It's like, and they live happily ever after.
No, please stop. Like, don't sell this fantasy to girls that like, once you get married, that's when your happily ever after is going to start. That's not true.
And they judge the singles, and like, even at certain weddings, like, it's like, oh, this is a single table and all that. It's like, it's very honestly, fuck society.
Another one I would say is like social pressures as well, because there is this expectation for you to either be like in a relationship or you're like actively seeking, and it tends to like kind of make you feel isolated from like social events. Because like, if you're not looking, like if you're not in a relationship and you're not looking, like, it's like, why are you, like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't expect you to like come, or if you come, they're trying to like set you up with someone. They're like, oh, come to this, like, I'll like, I need to like introduce you to someone, like, you know what I mean? So, and if you're like, no, I'm not looking, then you're crazy.
No, but did you just, because I fully stand with you on this one. Like, are you just introducing me to a random person because you think they're single and I'm single, and like we said earlier, it's just gonna work? Like, please, you can introduce people, but you really have to think about it. Yeah.
And because do you feel like sometimes maybe like, oh, it's like, oh, are you embarrassed that I'm coming as a single woman? Like, it's your
are you embarrassed?
Couple-y events.
Are you threatened that I'm single and happy, and that's something that you were never able to do? And so me being single and actually happy and actually confident in my single, is it singleness? Is it making you feel inadequate?
Yeah. I mean, there's also a lack of support for singles, like, because we know society provides more tools for married people and support in general.
And
there are not a lot of like resources for singles, and especially like I think here, like there is also financial and legal support for married people.
Well, married people in Kuwait, correct me if I'm wrong, I found out recently they get given an extra allowance, land and a house, or just land?
They get either or. No, they get the land and a loan to build a house.
Interest-free loan.
Oh yeah, or a government-built house, and then not only that, you get a monthly rent support for rent.
That's
like, or allowance.
Interest-free.
No, that's like from the government. They give you. I mean, it's not a lot. What is it, like 200 KD? 150. It's not a loan. It's like they give you an allowance every month, 150 KD to help you.
Increase your salary by 50 KD if you're a guy.
Yeah, so you get like salary increases. There's different pay. There's a pay gap between singles, and so in Kuwait, I don't think we have a gender pay gap. We have a singles and married pay gap. So obviously, if you're married, you have a bump in your pay. You get the allowance for rent, and do they still give the 50 KD per child?
Up to 7 children.
Up to 7 children.
If you have a special needs child, it's 75 instead of 50.
Yeah.
Okay, so the benefits of being that's crazy. The benefits of being married, like, not only is the institution of marriage, we never say the institution of being single. It's always the institution of marriage. Honestly, like, sure, yes, it's an institution, but being single, I would argue, is also an institution in its own right. Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that this country has pushed marriage, not just societally, like, oh, you have to be married, but like also, like, they give you so many benefits. Like, I'm so sorry, it does not shock me that the divorce rate has reached over 50%, because you are pushing people. You are telling them, if you are married, you are going to get the fairy tale, and guess what, we're going to give you more money, we're going to give you more access to benefits than anyone else.
So there becomes this like rush to become to get married, and I think the judgment is also very clouded, because you're just like, I need to get married. Time is ticking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say, like, obviously we're not against marriage. Like,
no.
Ideally, like, that's the thing that people don't understand, is that I'm not actively seeking, but yes, I would love to. It just hasn't worked out for me. You know what I mean? And that's fine. And I don't have to beat myself up or be upset about it. And I don't have to be miserable either. You know, if it happens, it happens. I'm not rushing to get married because time is ticking, or because there are all these benefits that I'm trying to get. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So in return, I feel like a lot of singles kind of feel like there is something wrong with them, that we're doing something wrong, that, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not trying to get married, or if it doesn't work out for you and you haven't found the right person, or you're refusing to settle, then there's something wrong with you. Like, you're broken, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's like kind of like, there's this like internalized stigma of like people who are single.
Yeah, it's single and self-hating. Like, they don't go hand in hand. And I think someone who I really used to get on my nerves, Jordan Peterson. I used to see so many clips of him on TikTok basically saying, he used to literally always be like, oh, women are more single than ever, and it's a crisis, and because it's in their masculine energy, How about you stop blaming women? He used to be like, women are being fed lies, and they're being told in society that they're gonna die, and we're all.
Not just that, you know how he says that men are order and women are chaos.
Yeah.
Because like he's relating women to like nature, because like it's Mother Nature. Yeah. So nature is very unpredictable, and because women birth, so we create and all of that. So he related that to chaos. He's calling it chaos.
First of all, if that's not proof that he's a moron, I don't know.
He really is. He even like related it to the yin yang. Oh my God, I don't even want to get into it because it's so dumb.
No, but at no point did he say, well, maybe men are no longer chasing. he at no point say men are not in their masculine energy. Yeah, true. Like, aren't they supposed to be like?
Did he blame like sexual selection of like females, like, because you know like the difference between like natural selection and sexual selection, and he's saying that like sexual selection is the reason why, because like sexual selection is, I think, when females look for like the ideal traits for
a partner to mate with?
For like mating.
Okay. And natural selection is just...
And natural selection is obviously like if you are surviving in your environment and you're able to like breed and continue like your genes, or like your genes adapt to that environment, then that's natural selection.
But leaving all this honestly like bullshit aside, like, he just blamed women and never once looked at men and how lazy they were, and how honestly we say joke all the time, like, do you want my lip gloss? Like, men are now doing the least and they want to be chased and they want to be the star, which is okay, good for them. But then let's just stop telling women how to act and how they're single and how it's a problem for society.
And then I hate when people are like, oh, the men are hunters, let men hunt. Like in the Valentine's Day episode, we talked about it, where it's like, oh, men like to hunt. No, you're not hunting. Like, yeah, that's your natural instinct, that's what you think, but actually,
what are you hunting on? Like, Deliveroo's right at the palm of your
like
hands.
Literally. But actually, the Smithsonian magazine just came out with a recent study that suggests that women were actually hunters as well. They helped men hunt, and they would actually hunt individuals or in or with their kids, whereas men would hunt in groups. So not only were we helping the men hunt, we're also gathering.
I know, that's right.
And I told you, like, where it's like the gender norms, like, or the oppression of women was actually created when the class systems of society were introduced, and that's when women started being oppressed. So that's just recent. Historically speaking, this is so recent. Women are not meant to be oppressed.
Zainab,
this is turning into
no, but I know I'm a hunter, because when I'm looking for something, like if there is like a specific item that I'm trying to get, I will hunt all of the internet until I get it, and I will find a discount code for it too. So yes, we are hunters.
So I think that's the problem, is that like people are like, oh, you're not married because you're too much into your masculine. No, I am finding a balance. Like, I'm balancing my masculine and my feminine as we should, because who are you to tell me that me wanting things and being bold and going after things that I want is masculine, and I shouldn't have and want that as a woman, and I should settle and want to get married? Like, you know what I mean?
And to add to that, the highest education rate we've ever seen in history for women is now. So I think there's a direct correlation between high divorces and high education rates and women not getting married, because now we do not need men as providers.
Oh my God,
we can provide for ourselves.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's like, men, like, do better. It's not that we're trying to come for your gigs or whatever it is. It's that you need to evolve the same way that women have evolved, and we've become stronger and we've become self-sufficient, and like, you kind of feel like we don't need you. It's not that we're the problem. You're the problem because we've surpassed you. So you need to also catch up with us.
Yeah. Do better. Do more. We are.
Yeah. Like, show me why you're going to add value to my life.
Yeah.
Not that, oh, she does not need me, so like, oh, she's too masculine.
They need to raise the bar instead of expecting women to lower theirs.
Yeah.
Period.
Women, stop lowering the bar or
don't
your
do
standards for men, please. Like, me and my friend have this joke, like, we're always like, oh yeah, we're old now, so we have to lower our standards. Like, we go so low to the floor, because if you don't, then you're just like a spinster. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that we have these jokes.
I think the term spinster is going to come out. I think it's really
it's already gone
out.
I know, I'm just bringing it back to like emphasize how like it's just very old school mentality.
But in conclusion, I do want to say that, just because, again, I don't want people to come and say, oh, you are glorifying being single. Like, no. Every single time I have spoken to someone or I start to get to know someone, I realize that they're asking me to contort myself and change myself and make sacrifices for their comfort and for their happiness. And while that's fine and dandy, they're not doing the same thing. So if I am, because I'm only going to get my 20s once.
Yeah.
And you're only going to get your 30s once. But if right now I can focus on my career and achieving my dreams and doing what every single man is encouraged to do, then I'm going to take that chance, and I'm going to be selfish, and I'm going to achieve my dreams, because I don't want to sacrifice them anymore to make someone more comfortable. And if someone comes along the way and they're ready to, make sacrifices to and contort themselves sometimes to make me comfortable,
It's about compromise.
Yeah.
Like it's
then
not.
I'll be like,
it's not one way. You're not. You're like that's what the thing. Like a lot of people think that the woman is supposed to make more sacrifices or compromise more. No, it's work.
Yeah.
You have to be like hand in hand, side by side.
I can fit into your life, but you also have to be open to fitting into my life, because until then, I don't see the point in being with someone. So I feel like until I meet the person that's doing the same things that I'm willing to do for the relationship, I just would rather be single and go after my dreams.
Yeah. So in conclusion, I think being single is a great opportunity for you to discover more about yourself, to grow, to invest in yourself, to do the things that like it is somewhat of a privilege, because you have the privilege of time and not so many responsibilities. I mean, unless you're like a career oriented woman, which is also fine. But yeah, take this opportunity to get to know yourself and enjoy these moments.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with us, guys. I swear.
All right, you guys. Well, if you liked this episode, or if you enjoyed listening to this episode, please
like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, send to every single person you know, married, single, divorced, widowed.
All right. Well, that's our time for today. We will see you guys next Wednesday.
Bye.